exciting. Give it up. Anaya, the Haitian community. Got a mother all the way from Florida. Ten, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, go. Welcome back. We're here live at the National Action Network Saturday morning broadcast. Live on WLIB 1190 AM. I'm Derek Perkinson, and I am the field director for New York National Action Network, and it's been a pleasure to host you all this morning, filling in for our Executive Vice President, General Counsel, the Honorable Michael Hardy. Without further ado, he's one of the most prominent activist leaders this country has ever seen. He is a man who's not afraid to speak up for the voiceless, stand for his firm beliefs. He is the soul reacher, the liberation seeker, and he is a true teacher. He is the president and founder of the National Action Network and has devoted his life to helping our people. He is none other than the Reverend Dr. Al Sharpton. No justice.
No peace.
No justice.
No peace.
No justice.
No peace.
No justice.
No peace.
What do we want?
Justice.
What do we want?
Justice.
What do we want?
Justice.
When do we want it?
Now.
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 Hug the person next to you, tell them you love them. National Action Network Change Choir, give them a big hand. Give them a big hand. Certainly we're happy to be with you another Saturday morning for the Saturday Action Rally here at the National Action Network House of Justice, 106 West 145th Street in the village of Harlem. And you that are here live in the auditorium, and you that are listening live on 1190 AM WLIB in New York, and you that are watching live stream on nationalactionnetwork.net, and we'll be on in a few moments live nationwide on Impact Television. We're happy to be with you again on a Saturday morning where the action is. Give a hand, our presider this morning, our
New York Field Director, Brother Derek Perkinson. Give Brother Perkinson a hand. Let me say, and I really want us to be very mindful of this. Right after the broadcast, you that are listening, make your way to the House of Justice. At 12 noon, Congresswoman Carolyn Maloney and Derek and others, we're going to have a forum here on the census. And 2020 census is important. We hear a lot of talk about the 2020 elections. But if the census is not done correctly, we will lose 1 or 2 congressional seats in the state. They draw the congressional and state legislative lines based on population. If you are undercount, then you are undercut. You understand that? So we will wait and get undercut and then want to protest when we ought to be getting ready now to make sure we are not undercounted. Let's avoid a critical problem. Now, under this administration, I'm talking about Trump, they have cut down the advertising on census. They're trying to now make people identify whether they're citizens or not, because they feel it will scare many of the Latino community from filling out the census. There is an effort, in my opinion, to cut down on the numbers in the census. So we must have a counter proactive strategy. So I want everybody to meet the Congresswoman and us here at 12 noon today, as in right now, as in it's not raining today, as in you ain't got no excuse today. You that got convertible, you done pull the roof back, just glide on over to the House of Justice and let us deal with the census at 12 noon. Let me thank our sisters beloved who has honored us today, Sister Anaya, Sister Anaya, stand up. Where's Anaya going? All right, she back here on my left gave me, and this is Haitian Flag Day, and everybody listening to us in the broadcast, y'all ought to be waving a Haitian flag, and they made me an honorary Haitian today. And I want to thank Anaya and her mother, husband, everybody here today. Give our brothers and sisters from Haiti a great hand. I remember when I was a boy preacher, when I was 10 years old, Bishop F.D. Washington, who licensed me a preacher at that age, took us on a Caribbean crusade tour, about 5 countries, Jamaica, Trinidad, Puerto Rico, and we went to Haiti. The first time I ever preached with an interpreter was in Haiti when I was 10. And I've been back there many, many times since, around hurricane, around, as she said, democracy, stuff, and as Anaya said, when they were trying to stereotype Haitians as all having AIDS or having brought AIDS to this hemisphere. Yeah. But I started at 10, so I deserve being an honorary Haitian. I've been to Haiti for the last 54 years. Amen. So I'm very grateful for them today. Let me also say that I want all of us to stand. Last Saturday, we had the family here who had suffered that horrific fire where 6 people were killed, 4 children, 2 adults. And the funeral will be on Monday morning at 10 o'clock at First Corinthian Baptist Church. I'm in Washington Monday morning, couldn't get out of a date. But I will meet them at the cemetery later. I'm going to fly right back to commit the body, but we've asked Reverend Johnny McCann, who pastors St. Luke Baptist Church, one of our original board members, to do the eulogy, and my pastor, Reverend Dr. Adolphus Lacey, will be presiding. And Nan must be in the house with that family. We've helped to take care of the funeral expenses, and a lot of folk, oh, ain't that terrible? 6 people dead, 4 children, and 2 days later gone. We stay with people no matter what. So when the mortician said that they had to go on Monday, they wanted to do it where I could do the eulogy, but I couldn't break where I have to speak on Monday morning. We said, no, we got a bunch of NAN preachers. In fact, Dr. Lacey was just elected president of NAN Central, Brooklyn Central. And I went last night, Reverend Minister Stephen Marshall and I went last night as they celebrated Pastor Lacey's 5th anniversary as the pastor of the church. I'm a member of Bethany Baptist in Brooklyn. And they had a communion, I'll put it that way, gala celebrating him. And we were there last night in Brooklyn with him. He'll be presiding. It's not just about me, it's about all of us, but I really want, can you imagine having to stand there and this family and look at 6 caskets on Monday morning? So I want all of y'all there, and I'll meet them at the cemetery, and y'all to stay with them. Then the repast will be here at the House of Justice when we leave the cemetery. But I want us to stand with that family, because let me tell you something, you have never ever dealt with pain more than losing a loved one, because that's something you can't describe unless you experience it. And many of us, people say, well, I don't know that feeling, I haven't been through that yet. Well, you don't want to go through it, but you will. Because everybody is going to leave here sooner than later. And everybody needs to understand that time is going to call on all of us. We just want, when it does, that we have achieved something and done something worthy of the time that we live. And some gonna live long, some short. I've got a eulogy prepared for most of y'all, because I intend to be a long time. I remember there was a young guy, I won't say what city, because folk in NAN will know, but it was a young guy in one of our southern chapters. He used to talk about, well, Rev, you getting old, and I'll be ready to take over when you step aside. And about 3 years ago, I preached his funeral. Because death does not come by age. Guy called my radio show one day and said, Reverend, do you believe we're in the last days? I said, well, if you're going to die soon, it's your last days. You ain't got to wait on Armageddon. You better get ready for your last day. You act like you're going to be here when the world comes to an end. No, it's when you come to an end in this world. And that's why we need to deal with these things in a way that means something. I want us also to be very mindful as we meet on the census and other issues that we have got to keep our issues out front. If we don't keep our issues out front, nobody will. And you know, don't forget, as we deal with Haitian Flag Day, that Trump called Haiti an S-hole country.
That's right.
While they run around dealing with trade agreements with China. What about trade agreements right here in this hemisphere with Haiti? And one of the reasons they don't want to give the respect to Haiti is because they don't want to deal with the legacy of Toussaint L'Ouverture when they ran the French out of Haiti. Let's tell the honest God truth. And I think that we must stand up and tell our story and the real history of what happened. People that stand up and fight ought to be given credit for that. I just tell Dominique that folk running around doing stuff. Somebody sent me a movie on all this kind, and never talk about the folk that fought for stuff. This stuff. We didn't go through all of this for a movie. Many of us could have been killed, were castigated, and other folks posing to be chosen, doing red carpets, but they wasn't on the picket line. And it wasn't on the march line. And it is disrespectful to act like those that paid the price didn't pay the price. And I'm not going to attack folk, but I sure ain't going to be disrespected. I ain't co-signing being disrespected. Let me say that we welcome our Impact Television family. This past Monday, let me also thank Reverend Reginald Pitts for that sermon this morning. Give Reverend Pitts for that inspirational message. And he said, if you see it, I was sitting listening. See it, you need to talk. You say something about it. You are accomplice to a crime. If you know and see a crime and say nothing, that's biblical. He really went into that thing. And I like where, I'm going to come back to that, I like where he talked about you got to be trained to serve in the capacity that you want. Ambition alone, I want y'all to get this now. Ambition doesn't qualify you. Ability qualifies you. And if you're not willing to be trained, then you can't serve. A lot of folk think just because they want to be something, they ought to be something. No entertainer, no singer is good if they can't make rehearsal. No athlete is good if they can't go to practice. You got folk jump up one day with no training, no grounding, no mentoring, and you must be prepared for whatever it is. That's why, if you go through the Bible, everybody, Pitts was on it. Everybody God used, he also gave them preparation and a process of tests, ups and downs, disappointments, heartbreak. All of that prepares you, because you're going to have that when you get there. If you can't deal with that on your way there, you will never do that when you get there. Why did God let Joseph become sold by his brothers and thrown in a pit? Because the pit prepared him to sit on the throne. Y'all want to get on the throne and don't go through the pit. If he had not gone through the pit, he would not have known how to sit on the throne and govern with balance. That's why this week, Reverend Jackson was in town. When he's around, I don't care how busy I am, I spend time with him. Because I learned at the feet of Reverend Jesse Jackson, Reverend Jones. You never stop learning. But when you meet folk, well, you know, I was there and I've got to go off and do my thing. They're telling you how they do not understand leadership is a process. Ministry is a process. God don't call you out of something. God calls you to grow in something, and the height you want to reach is in the place he put you. Getting out of place gets you out your blessing. Well, you know, I'm waiting on God to give me a blessing. Your blessing is already there. God prepares you to earn the blessing that's already there. Ain't nothing wrong with your blessing, is you haven't gotten to that yet. Yesterday, Reverend Dr. Elaine Flake christened my grandson. They had a private service. One of the things I watch about babies, I was watching Marcus Al during this christening. And one thing about babies is they're always reaching for something. They're looking and reaching because they're trying to figure out the world. They just got here, don't know how to talk, don't know how to walk, they reach. And they like rattles, they like And all of our lives, we can judge our maturity by how much we keep reaching. Some of y'all 40 years old and still reaching. And anything that rattles, you with it. Oh, I saw something on Facebook rattling. Oh, I saw something on Twitter flashing. You need to grow up. Get out the crib going for rattles and learn how to walk on your own 2 feet. Hello? Sometimes y'all need to go on a social media diet. Because some of y'all think that whatever it is y'all see on social media is the whole world. Folk come to me all the time. Man, there's something going on, so-and-so. I said, what happened? Oh, man, you heard about so-and-so? No. Man, everybody all shook up about so-and-so. Really? Why did I miss that? Man, it's on so-and-so's Facebook page. On somebody's Facebook page. And you think the whole world shook up about that? And you go on the Facebook page, they got 200 folk following them. And they about 8 billion people in the world, 7 change. But you think you done shook the world with 200-something people and half of them just following you because they ain't got nothing else to do. Hello. Like I get up early in the morning, I'm in the gym 5 in the morning, people be trolling me. And I be wondering, one guy be trolling me there, talking about, when you get some sleep. I don't even answer trolling. I want to say, this is about the 5th morning you done trolled me about being in the gym 5 in the morning. Why don't you go to bed and shut up? Would you just wake up to troll me? Why don't you get a life? Monday we got a report. A young lady, 44 years old, in Baytown, Texas, got into back and forth with a policeman. The policeman told her that the policeman tried to justify shooting her by saying that she tried to go for his taser gun. Her name was Pamela Turner. Pamela Turner, as God would have it, somebody was videotaping the whole encounter and put the tape out and it went viral. The fact is, when you watch the videotape, and it'll be on Politics Nation tonight, 5 o'clock, I'm putting it on national. When you watch the videotape, she and he were arguing. She said, "You're harassing me." Then he came and hit her with the taser. As he did, she says, "I'm pregnant." And he hit her with the videotape. Then you hear 5 bullets go off. Now, first of all, if he tased her, she was not able to go for the taser gun. Because part of what tasing you does is stuns you. So how did she go for the gun after he tased her? And if the things that come in you after you're tased, she would have had that in her herself. All right, now, then if you shot her several times, why are you shooting at her multiple times if you know she is tased and wounded? So her family got in touch with Attorney Ben Crump and National Action Network, and our Houston chapter. Baytown is right outside of Houston. Our Houston chapter, member of our board, Reverend Kerry Anderson, we put together, we're going to pay for the funeral, have the funeral at his church on Thursday at 11 o'clock, and I'm going down to do the eulogy and demand justice for Pamela Turner this Thursday. I'll be in Houston with them and standing up for that case and standing with that family and doing the funeral. But why y'all, everybody sitting up here frowning? Let me bring you home.
Well,
This week started the hearings on Pantiello, on the choking death of Eric Garner. I went on the first day with Gwen Carr's mother and members of his family who are here today. And every day, Derek Ferguson and members of NAN has been there. Cynthia Davis, the head of our Staten Island office, has been there since day one, since Eric was killed. And justice groups and other groups. This ain't about which groups are there. All of us ought to be there. And everybody needs to respect each other there. It ain't about who got there when. It's did you get there and what you doing. I mean, all this ain't the Olympics. It's about justice. And if you caught up in all that stuff, it show you ain't sincere. But it came out in the hearing. You know, Derek gives us bulletins all day on what's going on at the hearing, because that's why we have staff, so we can be doing the other work I have to do and other things we have to be and traveling. But he texts me highlights every couple of hours. And it came out that there was in the text messages, I want y'all to get this, around the country, in the text messages, it came out at trial. We did not know this before, that when they had texted into the commando that they had apprehended a suspect, Eric Garner, who apparently, after he was choked, his apparently DOA, dead on arrival. The commander on a text as a commando in NYPD said, quote, "No big deal."
What?
He said it was no big deal. Now, at several levels that need to be addressed. One, if the attitude of commanders in the New York City Police Department is causing the death of an unarmed person is no big deal, that we need to change how we qualify police from the top to the bottom in the city of New York. How do you ride around in vehicles saying protect and serve, but the people you're protecting are killed by one of your officers, and it's no big deal? Before any inquiry, any investigation, you say it's no big deal, and you wonder why people don't trust the process. Because if you're dealing with the mentality of those that within being informed that somebody died, they can dismiss it. You dismiss it, our whole community. You dismiss it, all of our people. Let me bring it right back down to when it happened. When Gwen Carr got the word about her son, Cynthia Davis and I talked that night. Cynthia called me. I was in Vegas coming back from speaking at a convention. It was on a Thursday. That I talked to Gwen and said, you be at the House of Justice that Saturday, which was a day and a half later. People can write what they want. Gwen's book, y'all need to read the book. Day and a half later, we met at the House of Justice. Right here, Gwen and the family stood on this stage. We took busloads of folks to Staten Island that day. I ain't talking about a week later, that Saturday. Happened on Thursday. That Saturday, we took 5 busloads out there. There were other people out there to protest. The controversy was, why is Sharpton calling a march? Why are you raising hell? Why? Because we want to make it a big deal. That's why we march, to make it a big deal. I'll never forget. We announced we were going to come back in a couple of weeks and go over the Verrazano Bridge. And they argued in the papers all week. No, don't let them march across the Verrazano Bridge. And every day they were attacking me. Rachel Nordling was working in City Hall then. They were trying to run her crazy to keep them off the bridge. And people were wondering why I wasn't upset about being attacked, because I was trying to make sure we made it a big deal. Then they're going to have a meeting at City Hall and talk about the Garner case. The mayor, Commissioner Bratton, invited some of the ministers and the councilwoman. Barack Obama was the president. I had meetings in and out of the White House all the time around issues. I told Rachel and the people at City Hall, if I come, I'm going to sit up there with them, because if they want people represented, we can sit our local chapter. No, you deal with the president, you deal with all that, and you work with the family. You can sit there with the commission and say what you want to say. They act like they was doing me a favor to put me up. Whereas I was going to any city hall in the country. I was ran for president before de Blasio thought about running. But they want to put you in the back of the room, even though they talk about a case you working on, because they don't think you no big deal. No, I sat there and told Bratton that this was wrong because I wanted to make this a big deal. And as long as there's breath in my body, as long as the sun rises in the morning, when you kill unarmed people, you can bet your life we gonna make it a big deal. The audacity, the arrogance. And let me say this. Not only do I feel Pantiello should have been prosecuted, certainly that should lose a job, but he should have been prosecuted. The commando that said no big deal should be fired today from his post and never serve in NYPD. Anyone with that attitude ought to be dismissed right now. You gonna leave him in place if that's his attitude? So you think this is over when the NYPD trial is over with Pantiello? We're going to deal with this commander. And Derek, I want you to find out where he's at still on the force, because I feel like we need to go out and march a little bit, Staten Island again, and make this a big deal. I'm going to show you what a big deal is. That's why I went through the history. Same place. We lined the buses up a day after Eric got killed. We lined them up again to go see Mr. No Big Deal. Because you're going to see what a big deal is when we show up and show out. Because we can't. I got a grandson. If you do it to Eric Garner, you'll do it to him. We're going to make it a big deal. Before I go further in my message, let us hear some remarks from the mother of Eric Garner, who stood so brave, sturdy all week long. Eric Jr., Emerald, and the members of the family, having to relive this pain. I sat there with her as they kept playing the tape to where she couldn't take it no more and went out. God bless Miss Baez, mother of Anthony, who come down there every day. Miss Diallo came one day. Miss Bell, Valerie Bell, all of them, because they understand the pain she's going through. And this ain't no time for people to be taking shots at each other. It's time for all of us to be together. As this mother has to watch the tape of her son choke to death, but she stands there for us. Let us welcome Sister Gwen Cobb.
Thank you, everyone. And thank you, Reverend Sharpton, and all the NAN family that stood with me. And Derek, thank you for being there every day for me. Thank you, Cynthia, for being there every day with me. She rode every day in the car with me coming over to One Police Plaza so that we can go and see what was going on in this trial. And the members of NAN, thank you all for, some of you couldn't even get in, but you stood there and tried to get in. Some days you did and some days you didn't. But just the support, and the support from all the groups around in New York, and they came from Connecticut. I have friends that came from Connecticut. I got friends that's coming from Maryland next week to come to be with us. And that's all because of the unity. And as Reverend Al Sharpton said, he started the movement going.
That's right.
They would have swept this under the rug like so many others that's been swept under the rug before. But by him taking the initiative 2 days after my son was murdered and brought the crowds to Staten Island, which they didn't want us there. But we stood fast then, and we will stand fast from now on. And I just thank everybody, the Justice Committee, the TPR, we have hundreds of groups that's behind us, and this is behind the camera. People are there when the cameras are on. They want to, as Reverend Sharpton say, see themselves on the 6 o'clock news, run home. But we got so many people that's behind the cameras that's doing the work. And you matter. And I thank you all for standing with me. And as we stood in, and as I sat in that court all week long, hearing different testimonies, hearing that medical examiner says it was a chokehold. And if it walks like a duck and talks like a duck, it's a chokehold, okay? And they said this in court. And then yesterday, day before yesterday, when I heard this commando, this is something that I had not heard before. That when the call came in that the person may be DOA, and he says, not a big deal. That means he's talking about our community is not a big deal. But we are going to make it a big deal. We're going to be out there on the front line, and it is a big deal. That was my son. And he was a big deal to me. Not only big inside, he was my big deal. And I'm going to stand for him. And I thank you. Thank all of you for standing with me. You all are my strength. I couldn't do this without you. Reverend Al, no, I could not do this. I come here every Saturday to get my strength, to get my wisdom, and to know how my steps should be guided. I didn't know how to do any of this in the beginning, but I'm being taught and I'm still learning, and I'm still a willing subject to show me how I should do this and how I should walk this walk. Thank you so much.
Gwen Cobb, give her a big hand. Mother of Eric Garner. Mother of Eric Garner. Isn't that, I mean, if you got any soul at all, to hear this mother. That's why we're there every day. And as she said, we started it right here, but everybody, the Justice Group, CPR, all of them have been there even when the press wasn't there. And now to be insulted in the midst of this trial, we're going to pursue that and fight for that. Are we with Gwen? Yeah. Are we going to fight for justice? And let me tell you, activism is knowing where to be and how to put the pressure on at the right strategic time. All these theories, we have a lot of theoreticians. They can sit up and pontificate, but they're never active. They go to one or two rallies and all of a sudden they think that they're the reincarnation of somebody. They don't go through struggles. I look at Cynthia Davis, who heads our Staten Island office. Stand up, Cynthia. And Cynthia was the one, the night Eric was choked to death, got me on the phone. And been with Gwen all the way through, and as she said, every day rides with Gwen in the car to the trial. And that does not surprise me, because in 2001, when they were having Navy bombing exercises in Vieques, and young children in Vieques, Puerto Rico, were getting asthma and worse infirmities because of the Navy bombing. They started protesting on that island to get the Navy off the island. I was riding to one of the Saturday morning rallies like this. We've been having these rallies every Saturday morning live on the radio 28 years now. I was riding to one of the Saturday morning rallies, and it was not long, it was about a year and a half after we had done the movement around Amadou Diallo. And if you remember, in the Amadou Diallo movement, we had started going down to One Police Plaza, right where Gwen is every day, and sitting in every day and getting arrested protesting that they would not indict those police. Right at the front of One Police Plaza. When I went the other day with Gwen, they got all barricaded off. Now that's because of us, because you used to be able to go to the door. And then now they got it where you can't get near the door without going through security and all that kind of stuff. And them folk working there ought to thank us. We made that happen. Even former Mayor Dave Dinkins got on his knee with us one morning, went to jail with us. And one day, many of the Latino lawmakers came and went to jail with us. For 13 days, we put over 1,100 people in jail, 150, 200 a day. Never been a movement like that in the North, heard boy. And while I was riding that morning, 2001, and heard that they were protesting in Puerto Rico, and they had arrested Dennis Rivera, who was then the head of 1199 Union, and Robert Kennedy Jr., protesting on behalf of those Puerto Rican children. I said that we need to go down there. They stood with us with Diallo. We need to stand with them. Because movements is about building allies and coalitions. The bigger the pool of activism, the more you can get done. So I reached on my cell phone and called Roberto Ramirez and said, I just heard that what they're doing down in Vieques, and I know that last year y'all went to jail with us for Amadou Diallo. I'm willing to go to Puerto Rico and go to jail for y'all. And he said, are you serious? I said, yeah. He said, well, that would help us a lot. We set the date, flew down to Puerto Rico, went to the Navy base and went under the fences where they say don't trespass. When we got under the fence, got run over one of the military Navy guys and said, if you don't move, you're going to be arrested. It's a federal arrest. And we wouldn't move. And he arrested 4 of us. Roberto Ramirez, who was then the head of Bronx Democratic Party. Assemblyman Jose Rivera and Adolfo Carrier, who was running for Bronx Borough president and later worked for Barack Obama, and me. 4 of us went to jail. They brought us in a jail that looked like a castle built in 1600. Put us on a barge with tanks to bring us 2 hours by barge. We was handcuffed to the bottom of a barge. To San Juan processed us. And we went to jail and for about 2 or 3 days, and then they gave us a date to come to court. When we went to court, they gave them 40 days each. But because I'd been arrested so many times at demonstrations, the judge in San Juan said I'm giving him 90 days. And Chuck Schumer and Hillary Clinton got them to transfer me to the federal jail in Brooklyn. So at least I'd be near home. But I had to do all 90 days. And 90 days I stayed in jail in 2001 to protest for that. One day, every day people come to see me, different politicians, all that. I told them I didn't care who wanted to see me. Let me out the cell. I bring my enemies, didn't matter to me. But I will never forget one thing you know about if you go to jail. You get to know the correction officers. And one day this guy, crew cut, looked like out of the Pennsylvania, working class, blue collar. He started warming up to me. He said, you know, I thought you were just somebody who wanted publicity. He said, but you're doing this time, nobody's paying you for this. You must believe it. I don't agree with you. And we got to know each other. He said, you know something that also impresses me? I said, what? He says, it's storming outside. He said, you could almost put a boat and ride down the street. But there's a protest outside every day. And one lady has pitched a tent and said that every day you're in this jail, she's going to be outside in that tent. I said, really? He said, and she's out there in all this rain. He said, we went outside and begged her at least come in the vestibule of the jail and eat. And she says, I'm going to stay here until y'all let Reverend Sharp tonight. And that lady is Cynthia Davis from Staten Island. Every day I spent in jail for 3 months. She was outside. Cold weather, hot weather. Missed all of the holidays. Memorial Day, y'all talking about Memorial Day next week, and I was in jail Memorial Day 2001, and she was in the tent. And that's why they call you opportunists, call you all that. I done been stabbed, I done been to jail. That's why I can ignore what they say, because I know the price I paid to do what I do, and I'm not worried about what they say. I'm going to keep on doing it. Why? Because God lends you life. You're talking about, I'm going to live my life the way I want. You don't have no life. God lends you life. And I'm going to make good on the time he lends me. They are trying to reshape the whole way of governing in this country so they can rescind whatever progress was made. Look at what they're doing with the abortion laws. They're dealing states' rights. The issue is not abortion. The issue is states' rights. And the issue is taking women's choice away. I told some of my preacher friends, whether you agree with abortion or not, is not the issue. First of all, the reality is they're debating safe abortions. Because people that want abortion will get one whether it's legal or not. If you make it illegal, you're only forcing it back into unsafe abortions. Let's be real clear, Reverend Mr. Pius. Hello? But what they want to do with this is one, start eroding people's rights. And people got the right to disagree with you. Well, Reverend, I don't agree with so-and-so. If somebody do this, that, other, they're going to hell. Well, if God gave them a choice of heaven and hell, then how do you going to make it law? Give them their choice. How you going to force somebody into doing what you want? Hello? But secondly, they are reframing this. I want y'all to be real clear on this. The underlying thing of not only eroding women's rights and eroding right to choose, which is a moral right. How you use the right is another question that we can debate in our homes. But you should have the right to choose. But the other thing they're doing here is they are now coming with a states' rights proposition. Alabama, yesterday Missouri, Ohio did it. I'm going to deal with it on Politics Nation tonight. This is a states' rights movement. Because what they want to do is they want to drive this law up to the Supreme Court. Now they got it so extreme. Alabama's law and Missouri's law is so extreme that you can't get an abortion even in the case of rape or incest. And if a doctor is caught aborting a child, he get 99 years in jail. So the doctor will get more time than the rapist. Think about that now. The doctor will get more time than the rapist. But they want to drive this up, pitch to the Supreme Court. Watch this. Then the Supreme Court, shall we escort? That's why all y'all run around here super militant, revolutionary, talking about vote no matter. Well, Trump put 2 folk on the Supreme Court because you said it didn't matter. And the Supreme Court will come back and say, well, this is a little harsh to say that rape and incest don't. We will soften it a little, take down Roe versus Wade, and let states decide on the particulars. And they're going to slow walk you into a states' rights decision. And once they give you a states' right, they empower the states to interpret on women's rights. They're going to come right back with civil rights and voting rights, because the whole Civil War was about empowering states' rights, and this is a test case to bring us back to states' rights. That's why they don't care how crazy Trump acts. They know Trump is acting the fool, but he is restructuring government from a strong federal government to a states' rights government right before your eyes. That's what this is about. These folk ain't stupid. They know Trump is embarrassing. But if you looking at somebody clowning in the circus, you ain't looking at the governmental infrastructure. They have confirmed 100 federal judges since Trump been in. Federal judges appointed and sits on the bench for a lifetime. And you worried about Trump clowning. What he tweet. I don't care what he tweet. I'm looking at federal judges, Supreme Court, revoking Affordable Care. The substance of what he's doing. First thing he did in criminal justice was have sessions. Take back the consent decree on policing in various cities that we fought to get consent decrees. There is a methodology that they're doing that you missing because you're watching the show, the Trump show. All you need is an actor and a performer to distract you from the substance. Because if he'd come out looking and acting serious, we'd all be a rebellion now. But because he's clowning, you ain't taking it seriously. And it's as serious as it could get. This ain't The Apprentice, this is real stuff. Folk get him every day. Oh, what Trump gonna do today? He gonna do you in. That's what he doing today. And we need to deal with the reality of that. And quit fighting each other. The reason I told y'all last week, the reason why we fight each other is because there's no penalty to it. What's wrong with our community? Well, Shopton and then we get out the way. Ain't no penalty attack me. But you want to attack those that control the land and the politics. Take a cheap shot at black leaders, don't matter. In fact, they enjoy that. They put you on the evening news. Gwen Carr and I got up, attacked the cop. They wait for one guy go outside. He said, I disagree. He'll be all over the news tonight. New leader. New leader said, well, Rem Allen them wrong. That's all you got to do. Microwave leadership. Just, they don't cook no more. Just bake it quick, instantly. All you got to do is attack whatever leader's out there. Boom. You the new voice. We went through their Gardner case. 5 years ago, we got to Staten Island. You had 4 new Staten Island Negro leaders. 6 months later, we couldn't find them. Same thing in Ferguson. Family called us out to Ferguson. I preached the funeral, paid for the funeral. Negroes talking about what you doing in town. Because they invited me. Found out they wasn't from the town. I'm going to Houston this week on this woman that got killed by police, go to preach her funeral. I know for our land, there going to be some folk in there, we don't want Sharpton there. Because if you don't face opposition, you ain't doing nothing. If you ain't got somebody pushing back, that means you ain't pushing forward. And they gonna hire them some folk that look like you to do it. I told you when I was younger, they used to buy folk. We used to call them sellouts. But when they don't have sellouts no more, they rent them. They lease them. You know, 1 week lease, election lease. They hire them for just a period of time because they don't want to have to take care of you forever. Look, we just hire you to election. Smear the candidates, tax shopping and them, and your lease is up on election day. We're going to hire you through the Pandela trial. You get up there and cut the fool. Every time they have a press conference, you get out there and have a fit. So we can act like they're all crazy. And we never see you again. I saw one person 4 times. Every time there was a killing, he said, no, don't be listening to all that marching. Shot. We need to burn the town down. I ain't going to take it no more. We done took plenty. We ain't seen them since. Provocateurs with no strategy. This is real stuff. But Reverend, if it's all of that, why you keep fighting? We fight because we know that in the end, if we don't back up, then we gonna win. The struggle is hard, but the victory's certain. Because every time I read history and look at what happened if the people kept struggling and got by the distractions and got by the envy and got by the jealousy and got by the debate on tactics, they kept winning. Because right will overpower wrong. And in the end, you ain't got enough money and power to wear down what is right, because God will bless the righteous if you're faithful. After I get off my TV show tonight, I'm going to Louisville, Kentucky to preach at Canaan Christian Church in the morning. One of our board members, Reverend Malone, coming right back to do my show from New York tomorrow night. So I text this morning Lonnie Ali, who's Muhammad Ali's widow. And I said, I just want you to know I'm running through Louisville. Probably won't have time to hook up, but I've stayed in touch with her since Champ died. He and I had a good relationship. And she texted me back, say, well, I won't be able to see you this time. I'm in Arizona at our other home. I'm glad you're coming through Louisville. She said, but I want you to know something, Reverend Al. I said, what's that? She said, this is on the text this morning. She said, on June 6th, the airport you landing in tonight is going to be renamed the Muhammad Ali International Airport. And I thought about how Ali told the story. That when he went to the Olympics in 1960 as an American boxer, and he won the Olympics, and he came back to Louisville and went downtown, and they wouldn't let him eat in the restaurant because blacks were not allowed to eat in the restaurants downtown. And it hurt him so bad he had represented the country, and he got this gold medal, and they wouldn't let him eat in the downtown restaurant in his hometown. And that's when he walked over to the bridge and took that gold medal off and threw it in the water and said, this country won't fight for me, but I fought for it. But he was faithful. He stood up when others fell down. And those that wouldn't let him eat in the restaurant, every time they fly from now on, their children and their grandchildren are going to have to land at Muhammad Ali International Airport. If you're faithful over a few things, God will make you rule over many. Keep on fighting, Gwen. Keep on fighting, Garner family. Don't you back up. We come too far. We fought too hard. We cried too many tears. We prayed too many prayers. God will make a way. Yes, he will. Yes, he will. Yes, he will. Everybody's singing. Everybody's singing. Everybody's singing. Everybody's singing. Everybody's singing. Everybody's singing. We want justice. Got to have justice. We want justice. Everybody's singing. Everybody's singing. I want to open the doors of the movement. If you're here today and not a member of National Action Network, you ought to sign up and join. Don't just come to the rallies. Don't just watch us on the TV, but become a member of the organization and be part of an active body of people. You have good ideas, you have good passion, but connect it with others and let us walk this justice path together. If you're here and not a member, young or old, we need you to become a part of our body. Won't you come down to me and let us sign you up right now to be part of National Action Network? Come on. Everybody's singing. Everybody's singing. Everybody's singing. Sing it like you mean it. Sing it like you mean it. Sing it like you mean it. Everybody's singing. Everybody's singing. Everybody's singing. Yeah, we want justice for Eric Garner. Everybody's singing. One last time, y'all. One last time, y'all. quickly, we're going to raise our offering, take in our new members, give you about 45 minutes to get you a sandwich. At 12 noon, we're going to start our census forum. Derek Ferguson and Congresswoman Maloney. I don't understand. Oh, the Congresswoman's gonna buy some food. All right, well, she should. I want everybody to give the best of your ability. Ain't the great Haitian Flag Day? You said merci. Merci. I thought you were saying I was being messy. I was going to get ready to have Eric Jr. check, put you in check. We doing messy. She said merci. All right. Yeah. I took French but I don't remember none of it.
I'll teach you, Brad. I'm gonna teach you.
All right. Don't forget, Monday morning, I want you to join Derek and William Allen with the family at 1 Corinthians. William, what time you want everybody there? 9 o'clock. And everybody's please come. The family that lost 6 members in that fire. They were all here last week, the survivors, and we gave them money for the funeral. I've been watching, but I'm going to get back in time to meet them at the cemetery. We're going to have the funeral services done, 1 Corinthians. 4 children from age 3 to 11, and the mother. And they say that it was caused by cooking on the stove. Whatever the cause, when people in our community suffer, we need to stand with them.
That's right.
And that's why we gave what we could to help. And William Allen and our staff, our crisis team, has been with them since day one. Stand up, William, doing a great job. Stand up, Katrina, right there with him. I had just flown back from wherever I was and heard about the fire on the plane. And when I landed, I turned on the TV and Katrina was introducing the folk. I saw Nan was on the spot. That's when you know you're building a movement. When you ain't got to be there, whatever city it is. Katrina and William were right on the spot. Then Derek, and then the elder himself, Stephen Marshall, was there all day.
Yes.
And that's what that's how you're a minister. Minister is who you minister to. Call yourself a minister, don't minister to nobody. Stephen right there all day. Been with us since he was a kid. And let me tell you something. Stand up, Reverend Marshall. That's why, and I talked about that with the Ali Airport about faithful over a few things. One of the things you read most in the Bible is about faithfulness. Now, Stephen came around us when he was about 12, 11. And I was running for mayor, 97. And Reverend Toon, and he went to the same church. And he used to run get the coffee for us. He grew up in this movement. And since he was 11 years old. There have been others that grew up. But Stephen never left. There was faithfulness. You judge by faithfulness. People see me with Jesse. I never left. I got close with James Brown. Never left movement. And that is how you judge people. You can't stick to nothing. It's because you are motivated by something else. And that's why I never begrudge people want to go somewhere else, because if you're motivated by something else, you need to go somewhere else. Don't let me get in your way. But he has been faithful and know what to do. And he's going to do greater things because he's learned. You can't get a degree if you don't go to class. Y'all want a degree and a diploma and no class. Hello. Thank you very much. Give all of them a hand handling this. And that's why, you know, I am hard on our staff because I want them to work hard. And folks that mentioned me, Bill Jones and Jesse, and them, hard on me. I give them a fit because I see in them more than they see in themselves. Like I was telling Patrice Perry, Patrice helps manage front office. I said, let them do crisis. Because Patrice is just active. Just anybody will help anything. She'll cook, she'll go to do the crisis. She'll fly the airplane I'm going tonight. You got to tell Patrice, hold it, let somebody do something. Because she got that kind of energy. But they use her to not do their work. I said, don't let people use you. I want Miss Brown to get on a plane tonight. Patrice be the pilot. All right, let's raise this off. We'll raise the offering and taking our new members. I'm going to have a conference also with Dominique Gwen, because this is the second Saturday. When I get to speaking, Marcus Al is quiet till I start speaking, then he thinks this is a duet with me and him. He started hollering and kicking. This is not a duet. I'm the speaker this morning. They had to carry him out twice. Last Saturday, this Saturday. They had to carry him out of here like an old woman because he wouldn't shut up. His time will come. You ain't speaking this Saturday morning, Marcus. All right, I need some folk give me $100 or more. I need about 10 hundreds. Come quickly. Weston Gilchrist, $100. Brother Minister Stephen Marshall, $100. Barbara Basket, $200. Nordlinger, Rachel Nordlinger, $100. Attorney Schmelker, $100. The Guardians, $100. Josh Curtin, $100. Anaya and the Haitian community, $100. Kathy's given $500. Had a great birthday. Doesn't that come on? I need some more hundreds. I know I'm over 10, but I'll take it. Solid Rock, Rep Pitts, $100. Agnella Savaroy, am I saying it right? $100. All right, give me 50s, 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 50s. Thank you, Reverend Pitts. He preached and gave some money. You come back anytime. Christine Dudley, 50. Brother John, 50. Sister Jackson, 50. Sister Wanda, 50. Brother Mallory, 50. 20s, 20s, 20s. 20s, 20s, 20s. All right. Everybody, whatever you have, $1, $5, $10, whatever you have. Everybody, come on. All right.
Come on.
All right, bring our new members up. Face me, new members. Naomi, Cardi, Pierre, Claudine, James, Jane, and Cole. Okay. Naomi, all right. Claudiane, all right. All right. First of all, let me welcome you to National Action Network. We're glad you stepped forward today to become a member of the organization. We are proud to have you in our family. We want you to work with us. They will give you orientation, different committees. Let us stand for justice together. We are now family together with you, and we're glad about it. Face the audience. Turn and face the audience. Give them a big hand. Welcome them to the National Action Network. Give them a big hand. Give them a big hand. All right. Thank you. Dr. Cody, thank you. I've got to report on what the committee did. Proud of y'all standing up for the masses, not the classes. We don't need no elitism. We need education for everybody. Dr. Cody did a great job for the organization and working with our pastor in Central Brooklyn chapter of National Action Network, Reverend Lacey. I went to his gala last night, and he's working now head of Central Brooklyn chapter of NAN, and Dr. Cody's part of making that happen. I don't want you to think Derek ain't passing on the information. Derek keeps me informed.
I tell you too much.
All right. All right, let us all stand. Amazing grace, how sweet the sound that saved a wretch like me. Take the hand of the person next to you and repeat after me. We're an African people, robbed of our names, our language, our families, our self-respect. But we shall rise, never to fall again. Up, you mighty race, we can accomplish what we will. No justice, no peace, no justice, no peace, no justice, no peace. Shake hands with the one you hold and shake my hand before you go.